How many knew you were going to be playing dodgeball today? I demanded that I had the green one.
I was almost taken out by pepper spray, but I was okay with it because it was made in the U.S. and I'm actually going to rock this. This is awesome.
All right, hey, continuing with the jokes here. What do you get when you cross a corrupt lawyer with a crooked politician? No, Chelsea Clinton. So, I think you've got the next line up here, correct?
All right, let's see where we are. Theresa.
Oh, you're going to make me tell more jokes, aren't you?
Yeah,
it's on your phone. It's on the phone.
By the end of the night, we'll be a great team, you know?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, good.
All right. Okay. Theresa Manzella is currently a Montana House representative. Montana's in the house, you guys. And she's just won a tough primary election in hopes of earning a Senate seat in November. We need a lot of senators in every single state that are liberty-loving. She's a Christian constitutional conservative Republican in that order. With a voting record to support the claims, she's A-rated by the Montana Family Foundation, Montana Shooting Sports Association, the NRA, Montana for Limited Government, United Property Owners of Montana, Americans for Prosperity, the National Federation of Independent Business, and Legistat's Legislator Loyalty. She's received the Conservative Achievement Award every session and the Phyllis Schlafly Eagle Forum Award for adherence to constitutional principles. She sounds pretty awesome so far.
Yeah.
She's also been awarded the coveted Keeper of the 10th Award for the MT Agri Women for her efforts to protect states' rights. And as a professional horsewoman, her tagline is, "Just say whoa to the big government runaway." Please welcome Theresa Manzella.
It doesn't look like you're holding anything to throw at anybody too, so we're safe.
Are we safe from getting...
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She may lasso you though.
That's a tough act to follow. I've got some gifts to share. Maybe a little bit, maybe some wisdom, maybe some pearls of wisdom here. I'm going to start my clock so I can keep myself on track. So yeah, the message that I have for you today is, as a professional horseman, if I can do this and receive those accolades that you just heard, anybody can do this. Okay? We need all patriots and all warriors to step up to the plate and take a piece of this behemoth monster that we have, this government, so that we can rein it in. Get a seat on your school board. How many of you belong to your central committees or precinct captains? You need to be involved in your central committees. If you don't know what that is, please get involved. There's every position that is available needs to be filled by a Christian constitutional conservative Republican. So yeah, I'm a horseman. I'm happy that I was born in a time in America that I could actually follow my piece of the American dream and raise a fine line of performance horse. I left Michigan in 1991 to come to Montana to follow my dream. And the results were that I have earned 23 state, regional, national, international championships in my chosen discipline of reining. But that doesn't give me any special skills to be a legislator, I guarantee you that. But you know what's interesting is that now looking back, now after serving in the legislature for 6 years, my discipline of reining is way more objective than the legislature. And that's sad, because I thought when you went to the legislature and became a lawmaker that you had boundaries and that you were evaluating every bill on its own merit, and that they were constitutional protections and provisions that we were asked to honor. And of course I felt very, very inadequate when I was recruited to run. And I'll share with you that I was recruited to run for office by a Christian county commissioner after he witnessed me going through a terrible assassination on my character from the animal rights movement. Because in 2008, after the economy tanked, the animal that I love so much, horses, quickly went from assets to liabilities almost overnight. And they were being neglected badly because people had to make a decision between paying their mortgages and feeding their kids or feeding their horses. So horses were coming out neglected. So I, as a professional horseman, thought that I should be at the front of the line to help horses and people and keep them out of criminal neglect situations. So I started a nonprofit horse rescue. And I got a lot of support from my community, a lot. But there was also this undertone of angst, and I didn't know where that was coming from. And as it bubbled to the surface over time, it became very, very evident that it was the animal rights movement. And after several death threats on my life, people wanting to see me hung up by my ankles with my throat slit and bled out, I realized there's something wrong. There's something wrong here when I, as a professional horseman, can't start a horse rescue without getting that type of angst thrown at me. And that is, I don't know if anybody else has ever experienced that. Exactly, that's exactly right. And if you're not familiar with the animal rights movement, I would suggest that you look up and read The Secret World Surrounding the Animal Rights Movement. It's a 16-page summary, and it's a great document that will tell you all about the animal rights agenda. And it's a lot more than just wanting to take our guns, okay? But that's part of it, so that we can't go out and shoot Bambi. But yeah, they want to give animals equal or greater rights than human beings. So I was recruited. I felt very inadequate for the purpose of being a legislator, but I talked to my Marine husband, Caleb. There's no such thing as a former Marine. and he agreed that we should do it together, and we've done this as a team. And I recognize that we take an oath to office. As a legislator, you take an oath to uphold the Constitution. And as a state legislator, you take an oath to uphold both constitutions, the state of Montana as well as the federal Constitution. And you need to know that that's a difference between a state legislator and a federal legislator. The feds, they only take an oath to uphold the federal Constitution. We honor both, okay? So that's where my education started. And there are so many good constitutional studies that are out there and available to you. How many people in this room have taken the John Birch Constitutional class? Oh my gosh, guys. Geez, for $30, you need to go right over to that booth and you need to get that constitutional study. It's a 6 DVD lecture series, and it gives you just a tremendous amount of knowledge. So much so that I bought 10 of them and gave them out to my fellow legislators because I wanted them to have the knowledge as well. I buy them and give them out as Christmas gifts, and I have constitutional studies in my home a lot. I've had posted 10 of them. So that's one of them. John Birch, Hillsdale College, Wall Builders, Heritage Foundation, all of those provide tremendous opportunities for learning. You cannot protect your constitutional rights if you don't know what they are. You must know what your rights are. You absolutely must. And you must understand the founders' original intent for you to have any idea as to how far left we've been drugged. We have been drugged to the left to the point where we barely recognize our Constitution. But yet it's our Constitution that is keeping us, that's the only thing that's keeping us from the New World Order and the One World Government. We better learn it and know it and own it. Yeah! You also need to know that Marbury versus Madison of 1803 states, case law, they love quoting case law, right? All laws repugnant to the Constitution are null and void, okay? We make a lot of unconstitutional laws in Montana. I don't know about Idaho, but I'm guessing you do. So the Republican platform, I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's a good document. And it reconciles comfortably with both the state and the federal Constitution. If only our Republicans would honor it. Okay? We need to hold our Republicans accountable to honoring that document because it's a good document. And again, get involved with your central committee so that you can be part of writing your state Republican platform and know what's in it. That's where it happens, is in those central committees. Okay? And there's a movement afoot right now. I don't know if you're aware. I suspect you are. You wouldn't be here. They're trying to change our platform. In Montana, we've got this group of liberal Republicans that are trying to change our platform and liberal it up. Well, my opponent was one of them, and keyword was. You know what I did? I exposed him. And after 3 sessions, I was so tired of what was going on in the legislature. In 2015, we passed Obamacare Medicaid expansion. The bill was carried by a Republican. There's nothing Republican about Obamacare Medicaid expansion. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. How can a Republican carry that bill? And we passed it. Okay? Montana gives us a comfortable majority. We have 58 Republicans in the House. But 20 of them consistently vote with the Democrats. Okay? Rhinos. Rhinos. They don't like us to call them that, but that's what they are. Republicans in name only. What are you going to do? You know, that's what they are. We passed a terrible water compact that took a property right, a solid property right, and turned it into a privilege that could be debated. We passed the gas tax. And in 2018, there was a ballot initiative to pass or fail Medicaid expansion, and our Montana citizens voted it down. They had the innate integrity. They were the only state. We were the only state that did. We voted Medicaid expansion down. But you know what the Rhinos did? They ran it down their throat anyway. When we assumed in session in 2019, they passed it anyway. And that is an absolute terrible, terrible bill. And our citizens should have been respected for that. Okay, so I've talked 10 minutes, and I didn't hardly get anywhere. I wanted to leave you with some words of wisdom. One was you must know your constitutional rights if you want to protect them. The next is you must know your enemy. We have many, many, many of them, and they are at the gate. Again, Bill Gates, yes, he's one of our enemies, absolutely. We must remain virtuous because only a virtuous people are capable of freedom, and as the nation becomes corrupt and vicious, they have more need of masters. Benjamin Franklin said that, and he is so very, very right on that. And you must, maybe more importantly than anything, you must know the Lord. You must know the Lord. Read and reread the back of the book. Be ready. We know how the story ends. We know who wins in the end. I want to just leave a quote from Justice Scalia. God assumed from the beginning of time that the wise of the world viewed Christians as fools, and he was not disappointed. If I have brought any message today, it is this: to have your courage regarded as stupidity. Be fools for Christ, and have the courage to suffer the contempt of a sophisticated world.
Amen.
And if you know 2 Chronicles, please say it with me as a prayer. If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and I will forgive their sin and I will heal their land. Amen. Thank you.